The Grand Council chamber erupted in barely contained laughter as Ambassador Ryota Tanaka presented Earth's petition for full membership. The massive chamber, with its towering crystal walls and floating platforms, seemed designed to intimidate lesser species. And by the Council's standards, humans definitely qualified as lesser. You expect us to believe, High Counselor Zareth wheezed through his crystalline respiratory system, that your species deserves equal standing when you've barely mastered basic ion propulsion. The ancient being's crystalline form sparkled with amusement, drawing more chuckles from the assembled alien delegates. Ambassador Tanaka stood calmly at the center of the chamber, his weathered face betraying no emotion. Behind him, First Officer Priya Sharma gripped her datapad tightly, maintaining the carefully crafted illusion of primitive technology. The device, while appearing simple, contained quantum computing power that would have shocked the smugly superior beings surrounding them. "We simply wish to contribute to galactic society," Tanaka replied diplomatically. "Earth has much to offer." Trade Minister Vilk, a towering being of pure energy contained within an ornate metallic frame, floated forward. "Much to offer. Your species still uses combustion engines on your home world. Your space vessels require physical fuel. You haven't even developed basic gravity manipulation." Each statement drew more derision from the assembled council members. In the observation gallery, Director of Defense Joe Wei watched silently, his augmented eyes recording every detail of the chamber's supposedly impenetrable security systems. The council's overconfidence made their job almost too easy. "Perhaps a demonstration of your technological prowess," suggested Sub-Councilor Nixis, her serpentine form coiling in amusement. "Show us these contributions you speak of." Tanaka shared a subtle glance with Priya. They were following the script perfectly. "We would be honored," he replied, retrieving what appeared to be a primitive data crystal. "With your permission, we've prepared a short presentation." High Counselor Zareth waved a crystalline appendage dismissively. "By all means, embarrass yourselves further. Security, help these primitives operate our holographic systems. We wouldn't want them to damage anything valuable." As a junior security officer stepped forward, Priya spoke up. "That won't be necessary." She held up her primitive datapad. The device interfaced instantly with the Council's most advanced systems, something that should have been impossible. The chamber's massive holographic display flickered to life, but instead of a simple presentation, it showed real-time tactical displays of every hidden defense system in the chamber. Systems that were supposed to be undetectable. The laughter died instantly. "Impossible," breathed Sub-Counselor Nixis. "Those are classified military frequencies." Tanaka's diplomatic smile never wavered. "Are they? How interesting. Perhaps we should discuss what else humanity knows about your classified systems." "This is some trick," Trade Minister Vilk sputtered, his energy form fluctuating with agitation. "Security, detain these primitives." "I wouldn't," Director Joe called from the gallery. "The consequences would be unfortunate." As if on cue, the chamber's impenetrable quantum shields flickered and failed. The vast space above the chamber shimmed as dozens of advanced human vessels dropped their stealth fields. Ships that made the Council's best technology look primitive in comparison. "Now then," Tanaka said calmly, his voice carrying clearly through the suddenly silent chamber. "Since you've all had your fun mocking Earth, perhaps we should discuss what humanity actually is, rather than what you assumed we were." The color drained from Zareth's crystalline form as realization dawned. You've been deceiving us all this time." "Of course we have," Priya replied, dropping all pretense of subservience. "Did you really think a species that survived countless wars, environmental disaster, and its own violent tendencies would come to the galactic stage without a plan? The real question," Tanaka added, "isn't what humanity has to offer the galaxy. It's what the galaxy has to offer humanity. And given how easily we bypassed your best defenses while playing the role of primitive newcomers, I suggest you consider your answer carefully." The council chamber, so recently filled with mockery and laughter, now sat in stunned silence. Humanity's deception was revealed, and with it, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted forever. The council's fatal mistake had been to judge humanity by its carefully crafted appearance, and now they would learn just how costly that mistake would be. The council chamber's emergency containment field sputtered uselessly as High Counselor Zareth attempted to regain control of the situation. Above them, the massive human warships hung like silent predators, their advanced weapon systems making the Council's defensive grid look like children's toys. "This is an act of war," Trade Minister Vilk declared, his energy form crackling with rage. "The consequences." "The consequences," Ambassador Tanaka interrupted softly. "Like the consequences you imposed on the Arcturus civilization when they developed quantum shielding, or the Proxima colonies when they discovered faster-than-light travel without your permission." Director Joe stepped forward, his augmented eyes glowing faintly as he projected a holographic display. "For the past 50 years, we've documented every civilization you've suppressed, every species you've kept in artificial darkness. The Galactic Council isn't a governing body, it's a monopoly enforced through technological superiority. Or rather, what you thought was superiority." Priya Sharma's datapad projected another series of holograms, showing vast shipyards hidden in dimensional pockets throughout Earth's solar system. "While you laughed at our primitive ion engines, we perfected dark matter propulsion. While you mocked our basic computing systems, we developed quantum AI that could bypass your most secure networks." The color continued draining from Zareth's crystalline form as the true extent of humanity's deception became clear. How did you hide all this?" "Did you know," Tanaka replied, packing slowly around the chamber, "that humans have a long history of hiding in plain sight? Our ancient warriors once disguised themselves as farmers. Our spies posed as merchants. We've learned that appearing weak when you are strong is the best way to observe your potential adversaries." Sub-Counselor Nixis uncoiled her serpentine form, eyes narrowing. "The trading vessels, the diplomatic missions, the scientific exchanges, you were gathering intelligence. Every primitive sensor array we installed was actually a quantum scanner," Joe confirmed. "Every time you helped us calibrate our simple devices, we were mapping your security protocols. Your patronizing tutorials gave us direct access to your systems." The chamber's secondary systems suddenly activated, projecting a new series of holograms. These showed something that made even the most composed council members gasp: dozens of human outposts throughout council space, all perfectly concealed by technology that shouldn't have existed. "Impossible," Vilk's energy form fluctuated wildly. "Our detection grids are based on technology we surpassed decades ago," Priya interrupted. "Did you really think Earth, a planet that developed atomic power barely 3 centuries ago, would achieve space flight and then just stop innovating?" Tanaka raised his hand, and the massive warships above shifted formation. Not with the crude movements the Council expected from primitive human vessels, but with the precise, fluid grace of ships controlled by advanced AI systems. "Humanity learned early in its history that showing your full capabilities often leads to conflict," Tanaka explained. "The strong are challenged, the advanced are feared, and the powerful are targeted, so we chose a different path." "We played the part you expected," Joe added. "The humble newcomers, the primitive species seeking guidance. And you performed exactly as predicted, showing us your strengths, your weaknesses, and most importantly, your contempt." A new hologram appeared, showing Earth's full military capability. Fleets hidden in dimensional pockets, weapons platforms disguised as debris, and defense systems that could render Earth untouchable. "Now," Tanaka said, his voice carrying an edge of steel beneath its diplomatic smoothness, "let's discuss the future of galactic civilization. A future where technological advancement isn't controlled by a select few, where species aren't kept artificially primitive to maintain someone else's power." "You're proposing to dismantle the entire galactic order," Zareth whispered, finally understanding the true scope of humanity's plan. "No," Tanaka corrected. "We're informing you that it's already been dismantled. Those civilizations you suppressed, we've been quietly sharing technology with them for years. The Arcturus quantum shields, based on human designs. The Proxima FTL drives, reverse-engineered from our tech." The chamber erupted in chaos as council members realized the implications. Their monopoly on advanced technology, the very foundation of their power, had been quietly eroded while they were busy mocking the primitive humans. "The galaxy is changing," Tanaka announced over the growing pandemonium. "You can either adapt to the new reality or you can become relics of the old one. The choice, for once, isn't yours alone to make." As the council members grappled with their new reality, the human ships above began broadcasting on all frequencies, revealing the truth to every species in council space. The age of suppression was over, and it had ended not with a war, but with a carefully executed deception that turned the council's own arrogance against them. The ripples of humanity's revelation spread across the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. On thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched in stunned silence as their communication networks broadcasted the truth. The primitive humans, so long dismissed and mocked, had orchestrated the most elaborate deception in galactic history. Admiral Kenzo Ishikawa stood on the bridge of the HSS Prometheus, Earth's most advanced warship, as reports flooded in from across Council space. The massive vessel, previously disguised as a simple merchant ship, now displayed its true form, a technological marvel that made the Council's finest ships look obsolete. "Status report," he commanded, his augmented vision processing multiple data streams simultaneously. "All hidden fleets have decloaked as planned, Admiral," reported Lieutenant Commander Amara Akafer, her hands dancing over quantum-linked controls. 97% of our ships are in position around key Council installations. The remaining 3% are deploying to protect our allied worlds. On the main view screen, tactical displays showed hundreds of human vessels emerging from dimensional pockets throughout Council space. Ships that had been there for years, watching, waiting, gathering intelligence while disguised as space debris or cloaked by technology the Council thought impossible. "Message from Ambassador Tanaka," announced Communications Officer Raj Patel. "The Council's military response has been limited." Ishikawa allowed himself a small smile. Hard to mount a response when you discover your weapons systems have been quietly compromised for decades. The bridge crew watched as more data poured in. Across the galaxy, supposedly primitive civilizations were activating advanced technology gifts from humanity, secretly distributed over years of careful planning. "Sir," Akafer called out, detecting multiple unauthorized launches from Council military installations. "Not unauthorized," Ishikawa corrected. "Those are our allies among the Council races, the ones who saw through their leaders' corruption and chose to help us." The tactical display updated, showing Council warships turning against their own command centers. Crews who had long opposed the Council's suppression of technological advancement were finally showing their true allegiance. "Message from the Arcturus Defense Force," Patel reported. "They're requesting permission to power up their full defense grid." Ishikawa nodded. "Granted, it's time everyone saw what they're truly capable of." The space around Arcturus lit up as advanced shield systems activated systems that matched human technology, secretly provided to help them break free from Council control. Similar reports came in from Proxima, Sirius, and dozens of other systems previously thought to be technological backwaters. "Admiral," a new voice called out. Director Joe's hologram appeared on the bridge. "The Council's internal communication network has collapsed. They're discovering that their backup systems were compromised years ago." "By their own security protocols," Ishikawa added. "The ones they so helpfully explained to us primitive humans during our training sessions." The view screen shifted to show the Council chamber, where the once mighty leaders were watching their power crumble in real time. Every attempt to regain control of their systems failed. Every emergency protocol they activated had already been quietly subverted. "Sir," Akafer reported, "we're detecting quantum communication signals from 47 previously unknown sources within Council space." "Ah," Ishikawa smiled. "The other hidden civilizations are revealing themselves. Seems we weren't the only ones playing a long game." The tactical display updated again, showing new power signatures emerging throughout the galaxy. Species that had hidden their true capabilities, inspired by Earth's example and supported by human technology, were finally showing their real potential. "Message from Ambassador Tanaka," Patel announced. "The Council's military chief has officially stood down their forces. They're requesting terms." "Of course they are," Ishikawa replied. "When you discover that the primitives you mocked have been inside your systems for decades, that your most closely guarded secrets were compromised years ago, and that your technological superiority was an illusion, what else can you do?" The bridge crew watched as more Council ships powered down their weapons, not from fear of human military might, but from the realization that their systems had been compromised so thoroughly that resistance was pointless. "Director Joe reports that the Council's emergency session is about to begin," Akafer noted. "They're going to vote on accepting the new reality." "They don't have a choice," Ishikawa observed. "Their power was built on technological superiority and enforced through monopolistic control. We didn't just match their technology, we surpassed it while convincing them we were barely capable of spaceflight. Their entire system of control was built on a foundation that no longer exists. As if to emphasize his point, another wave of advanced ships appeared across Council space vessels belonging to species that had been classified as primitive, but had secretly advanced far beyond their supposed capabilities, aided by human technology and expertise. Sir, Patel called out, incoming transmission from Earth Command. Operation Shadow Light is complete, all hidden fleets and technology revealed, the galaxy. He paused, reading the full report, the galaxy will never be the same. That was always the plan, Ishikawa replied calmly. Humanity learned long ago that true power isn't about showing strength, it's about choosing the perfect moment to reveal it. The Council spent so long laughing at the primitives, they never noticed us dismantling their power structure piece by piece. The bridge fell silent as they watched the final act of their long deception unfold. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. The age of Council supremacy was over, ended not by war or revolution, but by the patient cunning of a species they had fatally underestimated. The Grand Council chamber, once a symbol of absolute power, now served as the stage for the most significant transition in galactic history. 1 week after humanity's revelation, representatives from hundreds of species gathered to forge a new galactic order. The mighty council members who had once lounged in elevated positions now sat at the same level as everyone else, a physical reminder of their fall from power. Chief Diplomat Nadia Chen, recently revealed as the architect of Earth's diplomatic deception, stood at the central podium. Behind her, holographic displays showed the ongoing transformation across Council space as previously suppressed civilizations emerged from forced technological darkness. For centuries, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber, the Council maintained power through artificial scarcity. They didn't just control technology, they controlled hope. That ends today. Former High Counselor Zareth, his crystalline form now dulled with stress, raised an appendage. You cannot simply dismantle millennia of established order. There will be chaos. Like the chaos you created. The question came from Dr. Marcus Onwuadugwu, Earth's Chief of Scientific Development. The African scientist's augmented eyes glowed as he projected data streams showing centuries of Council interference. How many civilizations did you deliberately keep primitive? How many species died out because you denied them technological advancement? The chamber erupted in voices as representatives from formerly suppressed worlds stood to tell their stories. The Arcturians spoke of watching their colonies die from preventable plagues because the Council deemed them unready for advanced medical technology. The Proxima delegates described generations of poverty enforced by restricted access to basic energy production systems. Enough, Nadia commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. We're not here to seek revenge, we're here to build something new. The main holographic display activated, showing a vast network of interconnected systems. For the past 50 years, Earth has been secretly creating an alternative infrastructure, trade routes that bypass Council control, communication systems free from monitoring, energy production facilities that can't be remotely deactivated. And you plan to control this new network? Asked Sub-Counselor Nixis, her serpentine form coiled tensely. Admiral Ishikawa stepped forward, his cybernetic enhancements now openly displayed. No, we plan to share it. Unlike the Council, we understand that true stability comes from cooperation, not control. The display shifted, showing hundreds of human ships transferring technology and resources to formerly restricted worlds. On countless planets, advanced manufacturing facilities were coming online, built in secret over decades by human engineers disguised as primitive traders. But the economic impact, Trade Minister Vilk began, his energy form fluctuating anxiously. Will be managed, interrupted Dr. Maya Patel, Earth's Economic Transition Director. Her holographic avatar appeared simultaneously in multiple locations throughout the chamber. We've spent years preparing for this moment, developing systems to prevent market collapse while allowing suppressed economies to grow. The chamber's mood shifted as representatives began to understand the full scope of humanity's preparation. This wasn't just a revelation of hidden technology, it was a complete reconstruction of galactic society. There will be resistance, Nadia acknowledged, addressing the former council members directly. Those who profited from the old system will fight to preserve their privileges. That's why we waited until we could guarantee success. The holographic display updated again, showing vast defensive networks protecting newly liberated worlds. Technology that matched or exceeded the Council's best weapons, ensuring that no one could force a return to the old order. Your choice is simple, Admiral Ishikawa stated. Join us in building a more equitable galaxy or become irrelevant to its future. Either way, the age of suppression is over. Dr. Onryuatugu stepped forward, activating another holographic display. We're releasing all restricted technological data. Medical advances, energy production, FTL travel, everything the Council hoarded will be freely available to all species capable of using it safely. The chamber erupted again, but this time with questions about implementation rather than protests. Representatives from hundreds of worlds began discussing cooperation, sharing resources, and planning joint ventures, exactly as humanity had hoped. This is why we chose deception, Nadia explained to the stunned former council members. If we had revealed our true capabilities immediately, you would have seen us as a threat. By appearing weak, we gained time to prepare to build alliances to ensure that when change came, it would be permanent. A young Arcturian representative raised her crystalline appendage. But how can we trust that humans won't become the new council, that you won't use your advanced technology to control us as they did? Nadia smiled. Because we're not keeping our advances secret anymore. The quantum computing systems that let us bypass council security, the dimensional engineering that hid our fleets, the AI networks that helped us coordinate this transition, all of this will be shared. Power corrupts only when it's concentrated. As if to demonstrate this commitment, human engineers throughout the chamber began transferring technical databases to representatives from every world. Centuries of accumulated knowledge, freely given to species that had been deliberately kept ignorant. The galaxy is entering a new age, Nadia declared, one where advancement is determined by ability and ethics, not by artificial restrictions. The Council mocked us for appearing primitive, never realizing that their mockery was the key to their own downfall. Now, let's build something better from the ashes of their arrogance. 1 year after humanity's revelation, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. The massive viewing chamber aboard the newly constructed Unity station offered a perfect view of this transformation. Ships of all species moved freely through what had once been restricted space lanes, their designs incorporating previously forbidden technology. Below, the planet that had once housed the Council's seat of power now hosted the Galactic Cooperation Summit. Ambassador Tanaka stood at the window, his weathered face reflecting in the quantum-enhanced glass. Beside him, Admiral Ishikawa and Dr. Onryuatugu watched a fleet of Arcturian vessels test their new quantum drives, technology they developed themselves using principles shared by Earth. Remember when they laughed at our primitive ion engines? Onryuatugu mused, his augmented eyes tracking the ship's energy signatures. Now they're pushing the boundaries of quantum physics in ways even we hadn't considered. That was always the point, Tanaka replied, not to rule but to unlock potential. The chamber's holographic systems activated, displaying real-time data from across the galaxy. Hundreds of formerly suppressed civilizations were developing at unprecedented rates, sharing discoveries and building upon each other's innovations. The Council's carefully maintained technological hierarchies had been replaced by a network of cooperation and mutual advancement. Chief Diplomat Nadia Chen entered the chamber, accompanied by representatives from 30 different species, including several former council members who had embraced the new order. The final integration phase is complete, she announced. The last of the Council's restricted technology vaults have been opened and their contents shared with all member worlds. Former High Counselor Zareth, now serving as a scientific advisor rather than a ruler, moved forward. His once-proud crystalline form had taken on new patterns, signs of growth and change. We were wrong, he admitted, addressing the human leaders. We thought control meant stability. You showed us that true stability comes from freedom to grow. The main display shifted to show the galaxy's new economic metrics. Trade volumes had increased exponentially as artificial barriers fell. Worlds that had been deliberately kept resource-poor now produced their own energy and materials. The Council's carefully maintained scarcity had been replaced by abundance. There's something you should see, Dr. Maya Patel announced, joining the group. Her hands danced through the holographic controls, bringing up a new display. We've detected quantum signatures from beyond the galactic rim. It seems we weren't the only ones hiding our true capabilities. The assembled leaders watched as the data revealed evidence of advanced civilizations in nearby galaxies. societies that had also chosen to hide their development while observing the Council's empire. They're reaching out, Nadia explained. Now that the Council's suppression has ended, they feel safe making contact. We're not just transforming our galaxy, we're opening doors to intergalactic cooperation. Admiral Ishikawa smiled. Imagine what we can learn from them. How many other species chose patience and deception over confrontation? How many watched and waited as we did? The station's quantum sensors suddenly detected a massive energy spike. Everyone turned to watch as a ship emerged from what appeared to be a completely new form of faster-than-light travel. Its design was unlike anything they'd ever seen. First contact, Tanaka said softly. Real first contact between equals who don't need to hide their capabilities. The viewing chamber filled with representatives from dozens of species as news of the arrival spread. Former council races stood shoulder to shoulder with those they had once suppressed, all equally eager to greet the new arrivals. 1 year ago, they mocked us for appearing primitive, Nadia reflected. Now we stand at the threshold of intergalactic cooperation. Because we remembered something the council forgot, Onwuetugu added. True power isn't about controlling others, it's about lifting them up. Every species we helped advance has now surpassed our expectations, developing technologies we never imagined. The new vessel established communication, and the chamber's translation systems processed its first message. Greetings to the free galaxies. We have watched and waited as you did. Now it is time for all hidden powers to emerge from the shadows. Tanaka stepped forward to respond, but paused as representatives from every present species moved to join him. This wasn't just humanity's moment. It belonged to everyone who had fought against suppression and worked for change. Together then, he said, looking at the assembled group, we'll answer as equals. The former council members in attendance watched with a mixture of amazement and understanding. Their mockery of humanity had indeed been their greatest mistake, but it had led to something far greater than anyone could have imagined. The age of suppression was over, replaced by an era of unlimited potential. As the gathered representatives prepared to greet their intergalactic visitors, the last vestiges of the old order faded away. The galaxy had been transformed not through war or conquest, but through patience, deception, and a carefully executed plan to lift all species to their full potential. The Council had mocked Earth for appearing primitive, never realizing that their mockery was the key to their own transformation. In trying to keep humanity down, they had instead created the perfect conditions for a revolution that would reshape not just their galaxy, but perhaps the entire universe. Humanity's greatest secret hadn't just been their hidden technology, it had been their vision of a future where advancement was shared, not controlled. And now, as new civilizations emerged from across the cosmic void, that future was becoming reality.